Here's another podcast from the Pod Bros Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Jean-Pod Van Damme Cast. It is Jeff and John in studio with a special guest. He's been doing these episodes with us this whole time. You had no clue. He was just silent for episodes 1 through 3.
Staring angrily.
Yeah.
I
Wanting to talk, but we turned his mic off.
I thought it was just because I was having a lot of trouble processing episodes 1 through 3.
Great editing on my part. So, yes, Dan's back in studio with us. He's going to talk to us. Well, I guess, yeah, back in studio. Yes, we're going to go along with the episodes 1 through 3.
Due to time travel.
Yeah, I don't know when we're going to put out the beer episode. That might be next week. That might be before the Timecop thing. So, who knows? It depends on my time traveling. What I
time traveling
to do.
It's a harsh mistress.
It is. It really is. But yes, we are reviewing Timecop, the television series from ABC, episode 4, entitled Public Enemy, which played October 13th, 1997. There are some familiar faces in this. You know, this is my favorite time of the episode where I have to get into the rabbit hole of cast.
Then I ask questions. And then
and then we get even further, and then we say, oh, we got to make a podcast based off that one.
Hell yeah.
So we have the regular people playing, and if you don't know, Ted King played Jack Logan, Don Stark, Eugene Matuzik, Christy Conway, Officer Claire Hemmings, Kurt Fuller, Dr. Dale Easter, and then we have the baddie who was in the first episode, Tom O'Brien playing Ian Pasco. But we also have Office Space's very own Ron Livingston playing Elliot Ness.
It looks like they're like the same age, and he keeps telling him he's a kid, and like you have to be able to shave before he can hold a gun. I'm like, these two don't look that different.
Yeah,
in
I know,
age.
man. Yeah, Ron Livingston does not age, just in general.
Yeah.
As well, he looks the same as he did in 1997. It's absolutely insane.
Due to time travel.
Like I recognized him and meant to look it up, but then just really was steadfast that it was the guy from Office Space and never looked it up. So thank you.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're welcome. That was it was a very pleasant surprise to see that. One of my favorite, while we were talking, I was stumbling upon this. Bill Henderson played Lenny Spatz, but when I pull up Bill's photo on IMDb, it is a photo of Hulk Hogan in No Holds Barred.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah.
What aren't they telling us?
I don't. Yeah, I did not know Terry Bollea. And then when you pull up his thing, it's Hogan as his like little cover photo too. So it's like, wow.
What's that smell?
This poor guy decided Hulk Hogan was going to be a feature on all of his.
I mean, would you do it any differently?
No.
Which actor is this? What character did he play?
Lenny Spatz, which
he was
sorry,
he was the tech nerd, right?
Was he the tech nerd?
I'm assuming it's the only other character on the show.
Here, let me show you a photo of him. I don't recall him at all in this. That wasn't the tech nerd,
No,
was it?
it wasn't.
I have nearsightedness.
Yeah, this dork can't see for shit.
Was that the guy that
was it the shoe shiner?
Yeah, the shoe shiner.
Oh shit! It was the shoes. It's been so long since I watched episode 4. I watched it when I watched episodes 1 through 3.
It's the guy.
Wait,
in the
guy,
middle,
the shoe
correct?
shine was in No Holds Barred.
I guess so.
Honestly, yeah, I believe that to be true. Because I remember looking up the cast of this show
And comparing it to No Holds Barred like you do for every movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just basic cross-referencing.
Holy shit! He was at No Holds
Like,
Barred.
do you know how many careers No Holds Barred has not barred?
Oh man. So right away, I'm sorry to say there's no trivia for this particular episode. Nothing fun. No goofs, no quotes or anything like that.
No doofy.
Just what we've just covered.
I'm really sorry. The director was Chris Long. Writers were Alfred Goh and Miles Millar and others. Let's just get into the episode here. We open up in the temporal detention facility on June 14th, 2007. Ian is pacing the cell. He gets up from the bed and looks in the television, tells them to get cable.
Yes.
They say they need to finish his psychiatric evaluation. Someone sent him a letter, but it has been edited for his own protection. So it's good to see that in 2007 they still do this.
Yeah.
The doc looks at it. It's gibberish. But He drops it into the drink. It starts smoking. The doctor faints. Ian escapes after snapping the neck of some dude.
Yeah, he snaps a lot of necks.
And then treating himself for asthma.
That's right.
Because apparently using an inhaler will protect you.
That protects you.
True. I can vouch for that personally.
Yep,
and
we've done it a couple times here.
Perfectly safe. This is the worst time prison I've ever seen.
I know, man.
Yeah.
They just run in with the door unlocked.
Yep.
But anyways, he got out.
Seems to have a lot of enemies, though.
So,
True.
the one weird thing about this show is the fact that they constantly call each other's characters by like their first and last names.
Yeah.
So half the time, it doesn't help that Jack's last name is a first name too, Logan. So half the time people are like Logan, and the other half are like Jack. Easter, the librarian dude, Kurt Fuller, is the only one that seems like it's a constant where they just call him Easter. Matuzik, Mr. Pinciotti, is Mac, which you have to constantly, which is short for Matuzik, but then later on in episodes they call him Glenn by his first name.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? And then Claire Hemmings, same thing. So
another thing, why do they have a person from the future locked up in the past? Wouldn't that affect the time stream of the past up until when he was born? Or he was born at the time.
He was born at that time because he was 13
But shouldn't he be returned to
time.
like the time prison of like?
Oh yeah, when he
when
was present.
Yeah, where
I
they
didn't
were.
think about that.
Maybe they don't have the technology to send him forward.
Could be. Why don't time cops from the past go to the past? Explain this. Oh, okay, I don't know.
Because you're not allowed to alter the past, right?
Well, yeah, but he's altering the past, so you have to go in and fix it. So
I
they
know,
come in
right?
with clothing that doesn't match for the era.
So the one thing I guess I'll get my big question out of the way, though, is that like, hey, was it the Time Enforcement Agency?
Bureau,
The
agency.
TEC. What's
Okay,
the C
yeah,
stand for?
Commission.
Cops.
Yeah, cops.
Yeah, they just
What
really
you gonna
shorted
do?
up Time-E cops.
Time efficiency cops.
It's probably like Temporal Enforcement Commission or something. I'm sure
That
we can
sounds
look
right.
Yeah, I think you're
But,
right, actually.
The question I always had about it was, so someone does a temporal ripple, I think they call it, regularly. So wouldn't time cops of all stages of time get the ripple and then send like 1 million time cops back?
Yeah, you'd think they'd have like cops like, oh, this is my beat. This is my era of expertise. No. I'm from 2550. We have much better time cops.
Oh, man.
Apparently, they just kind of like give up on it and it loses funding in like 50
Or
years
maybe,
or something.
I guess I can even talk myself back out of it too, because I had such a mental gymnastics trying to process this show. So they get a temporal ripple because that's the way they detect
Yep.
crime.
Anomalies in the timeline. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're like, all right, my interpretation is that the ripple is coming and we have X amount of time to put things back.
Right.
So yeah, maybe time cops 10 years after them haven't detected the ripple yet. I have no idea.
Yeah. In their timeline, they're like, everything's still fine.
Or it could be that
They've never received that ripple because 2007, because that's the beginning of it, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
2007 is kind of when it finally, spoilers in later episodes, we find that they started this project in 1990 or 1991,
Oh, no kidding.
but it just really, didn't gain any weight.
A lot of punk time cops.
Yeah, man. Well, you'll see. I can't wait for you guys to see episode 9.
I thought about it.
Yeah, I did.
I
I
can only
had
take
to.
so much.
Let's watch it right now.
Yep. Okay, and we're back. Episode 9. They loved it. Absolutely loved it. No. So getting back to it here. Logan is mad that Ian escaped.
Which I would be too.
We find
Everybody should be.
Yeah, rightfully so. We find out Ian borrowed one of the guards' thumbs to get through the scanners.
Ew.
Logan and the head guy are yelling at each other in the library. Mac is. Oh, I'm reading my notes and I'm not. I'm speaking before I'm thinking. Logan and Mac are yelling at each other in the library. They end up finding a watermark on the letter that caused all of this. It has an address on it. And then we also see, this is just kind of little in the details here. They have electric vehicles right now in 2007. They charge when you park. I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet, man.
That'd be
Yeah,
handy.
I did see
I
that.
know.
Someone should
Seriously.
get a.
Why is our 2007 so far behind?
I don't know. We don't have time travel.
I know.
We don't have cops doing the splits.
Too many people have occupied the same matter in the same space. That's why.
That must be it.
That's why.
Nothing else makes sense.
Yep. Ian takes, I think, was it Claire hostage? I have the partner hostage.
Claire.
It's been a while since I watched this.
Yeah, they didn't have the substitute partner until the next episode.
Oh yeah. We got the
And
weird.
she was a Nazi.
And she was a Nazi. Yeah, for spoilers, one episode. This substitute partner, and then she's not seen again. Fuller.
Because of time.
Yeah, because of time. Yeah, so we had these like weird seatbelt like handcuffs. It was kind of interesting how they do it now in 2007. Pasco wants his pocket watch. They can't get the watch because of the security setup. Ian tells his partner about her future. Two beautiful boys. Claire and he are going to Chicago in 1928. He tells Jack if they do anything different, she dies. So now we're at the Drake Hotel, Chicago, June 14th, 1928. Capone asks his guys if they got it done. They tell him yes. Ian pops in. Capone is not happy to see him. We start to see that Ian's really the brains behind Al Capone.
Which I always suspected.
Yeah, knew it the whole time.
Yep, that's exactly. Where's that in the history books, right?
Yeah, without time travel, how could he possibly put it all together?
Seriously. So Matt gets him the pocket watch, tells him not to screw up. Ian is the one that introduced Capone to everything he knows. Claire is all dressed up now in 1920s garb. And then we get the line, a tardy man is a dead man. Pasco sent the letter to himself. Mm-hmm. The 13-year-old was the one that sent it, apparently.
No, wait, did he send it from the 1920s?
I have no clue.
I don't know.
I
thought vague on that too.
Yeah, I thought I remember them saying something about the 13-year-old, or maybe that was them asking the question. The 13-year-old sent it to himself, and they're like, "No, he sent it to himself." Whatever.
Well, I know it involves
the strange thing. I apologize for interrupting, but
no, you're fine.
I'm going to continue to do it then if it's okay.
Apologize and interrupt all you want, please.
I apologize anyway. So, if I'm recalling correctly, he gave the letter to his 13-year-old self, and this was after he had killed his parents.
Yeah.
So I'm just not sure how
that makes sense. Then
I'm not sure how
no,
he
it
had
doesn't.
access.
In a weird time cop.
Which is where I'm getting at too. Is like, yeah, just here's this letter.
Send it. Don't touch me.
Hey, you little shit! Send this letter.
Like,
oh, okay, mister.
So, like, did he go back in time to inspire himself to be a time criminal? Is that what they were getting at?
Well, you know,
perhaps we're reading too far into it.
I think
so.
You could even say that he just accelerated his own douchebaggery.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're gonna grow up to be a piece of shit. Let me help.
I mean, did he really accelerate if it's in the timeline then? Like, I mean, this is like
causality loop.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, like, but the thing is, people that come back from traveling time aren't personally affected by the changes in this show. So, like, he could change stuff that happened to him in the past.
Yeah, only physicality.
He would mentally he'd be the same person though.
Right.
But he still had him send the letter, so
yeah, he still sent the letter.
Yeah, cause I've got
at least
my
we
own
figured that out.
Off the record, like John Connor theory for Terminator that I'm not going to clutter this one up with.
No, please do.
Okay, sure.
Let's get into it.
Let's just edit out the whole thing later. No, the big thing that's always been, and I suppose spoilers for Terminator if somehow you still haven't seen it.
I haven't.
All right, well, let's move on. No, I've always the big thing was always, as Jeff said, the causality loop of John Connor sent himself back to save his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hey, it doesn't make any sense, but
it's a causality loop.
Yes, but my theory that I've always had with it that I've never really talked about too much because it's it's a fucking movie. And I'm not going to just bore people unless I'm on a podcast.
Oh, thank God. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Aw, man.
That is that John Connor can go back to save himself because I've always looked at it. It doesn't necessarily need to. John Connor is not really a product of his parents. He is a product of the time that he spent with his mother, Sarah Connor. So it didn't really matter who the dad was. It was going to be the experience with his mother during this time that made him who he was.
You're hurting my head.
This sounds like a bunch of MTV stuff.
Well, she wasn't 16 when she was pregnant.
Nice.
I don't think so.
I don't know either.
She was a teenager.
Was she a teenager?
She rode a scooter.
Oh man! All I know is Guns N' Roses needs to be playing right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about this. No, I kind of like that theory.
Yeah.
Actually, I do.
You should type it out
Yeah.
next to your anti-technology manifesto.
I'll add it to the current one.
Appendix B. Check this out. So Logan is talking with the dude at the train station, who says basically it's almost like a, I don't know, maybe like a Mickey Rooney type character.
Yeah.
He's very just like,
Correct.
I'm gonna take my break now. And he's like, what? Why? He's like, if they're meeting someone up here on the clock, it's a setup to die. And then he leaves. And Ian and Logan meet up. The clock strikes 12. The older gentleman has the watch. Capone has Claire. Ian shoots at the baggage. Things go crazy. Capone takes off with Claire. Ian beats up Jack. The cop arrests Logan. It's Ron Livingston.
And Elliot Ness.
Yep.
So confusing.
I know, right? What? You're not playing Ron Livingston?
No, the one thing I did think was strange about that scene was
one thing.
Yeah. Okay, we'll call it the two things. Was the guy was very adamant that he was about to take a break, and he's like, "Oh, any way I can talk you into being directly involved?"
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I'm gonna take a break because I don't want to fucking die. And you know what? No. Showed him that shiny new the money. There you go again. He doesn't have fucking old money. Like, could you imagine showing him a 2007 dollar bill? Well, dollar bill maybe, but like
And
the
by the year
$20 bill,
2007, they're
the big giant.
they're made of plastic, and they have holograms that shoot out of them.
They're not Canadian dollar bills here.
Australian
Sounds
ones that
like
melt in the
Toonies.
dryer.
Yes, it has a face that comes out and tells the cashier that it's not counterfeit. I am legitimate U.S. currency. But so there was the whole fact that within a breath, he convinces this older gentleman to get directly involved in a shootout.
Yeah, I know, man.
I don't think you understand how good of a time cop this man is.
Jack's a really good time cop.
That's why he gets sent on many jobs per day.
That's true.
He doesn't need to change his clothes. He doesn't need to
Not at
learn
all.
the accents.
Nope.
He doesn't.
He does it all.
Yeah, he just gets sent in blind, teleports into places that could possibly kill him.
Yep. And in some cases, they just throw a blanket blind teleport, so he sometimes falls. And,
Yeah, he just
can't
falls and
control
nearly
himself.
dies. Yeah.
Like,
Falls in people's
good luck.
bedrooms. A spoiler, in episode 5, he falls on a German Nazi table where they're all drinking beer.
And the current episode, was that the one where he fell into the dressing room or no?
Or the dressing room one? Oh, yeah. Yeah, because he tells the lady that he's
That
like, "Oh, you
dresses
look
her.
good." Yeah.
Like
That
that's
was
one you.
That was
That's
number 3, wasn't it?
Was that 3?
Yeah. It was in
Oh,
the
yeah, I
1950s.
think you're right.
And this
Yeah,
one,
you're correct.
he teleported into a funeral parlor and stole a corpse's clothing.
Did he?
Yeah. He said thanks for the clothes.
Yeah, it was trigger happy something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Malone because it makes sense.
Yeah.
It probably
man.
wasn't.
He was like,
It's just
thanks for the
stereotypical.
suit. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I don't
Yeah,
even
he robbed a
remember that.
corpse of his...
Yeah, he walks out of the funeral parlor, and it's probably actually, I'd have to go back and rewatch it. When they first introduce Al Capone, he talks about how he just offed somebody.
Yeah. Okay.
It
yeah.
could be the
same guy.
funeral.
I think it is. I think it is.
Got a reference back to that one.
Yeah. So Jack walks into the speakeasy, talks with Pasco. Pasco tells him all that he has done. Jack wants Hemmings. He gives Ian the watch. He starts shooting at them, and they take off. He gave him Elliot Ness's watch. Ooh, tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Ness pulls his gun on him. Ian gets rid of it and takes him.
Every time someone pulls a gun on someone, they like stick it right in their face to where they could...
Yeah,
and then
easily.
it always gets swatted away.
Swatted
yeah.
away. Yeah, that's a time clock, the swatting.
Going for shock value.
Claire meets up with Al Capone. She tries to flirt with him. She tells Al what happened at the speakeasy, that if Capone helps out with her, they'll never see Ian again. They go to his car. Logan is there, and he pulls a fast one on them. Meanwhile, we see that Pasco has already created all the famous events in the timeline. Not much they can do about it now. Back in the past, the guy is laying on the horn. Ian comes out and gets Tommy guns pulled on him from Jack and Claire. Claire knees Capone in the nuts and gives him an elbow to the back. Jack and Ian fight. The stopwatch falls and opens up. Ian is off the rails, falls, and goes through the portal. Ness was okay, just tied up in the trunk. You really want to nail Capone? Remember 3 little letters, IRS.
Just a little timeline alteration.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Erwin R. Shyster.
Back at TEC, Mac tells him Pasco is different. No, he's not. He's nothing. The end. And
For
unfortunately, I think that's the end of Ian Pasco.
Really?
Yeah.
They never show him again?
Yeah, sorry guys.
Little timeline spoiler
canceled.
right there. Yeah.
That was,
Show gets canceled.
episode 10.
Yeah, it might have been, honestly. They said they were supposed to film, I think, like 12 episodes.
I think I read it was 13.
13, yeah.
Or 13 were ordered.
Yeah, and they only
They're
got
like-
up to 9.
Like, what the
They
fuck were we
canceled.
thinking?
Yeah. Why did we decide to do this?
Why do we make a primetime Timecop
Yeah.
show?
Yeah, especially with, all the violence and whatnot that the movie
The
had.
Nazis.
Like, you know what? Let's do this on a regular television station. Not even, basic TV.
Yeah.
So not even Showtime or HBO.
There was an electro-knife stabbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's it. That's all for that episode. There's not much, like I said, there's no trivia. There's nothing. I can't really bring up anything on IMDb that's any different than we've already talked about.
Because the timeline's already been altered.
Yeah,
You get,
it is.
You've got Livingston and the guy from No Holds Barred.
Yep, exactly. So we haven't done ratings on this yet, right? We agreed that we were going to do wait till the end.
Did
and
we?
rate it as a whole?
Yeah.
I think.
I think that makes sense.
Sorry if we already did ratings 1 through 3. I can't remember. It's been a while. So anyway, thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Jean Pod Van Dam Cast. Honestly, right now, episodes 1 through 4, what has been kind of like have you enjoyed the show at least? Would you have sat down and watched this series, do you think?
At the time it aired?
I mean, that's kind of hard to say because you're looking at your, young either teenage self or
Yeah, but when you have to account for these things when time travel is involved.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Right? Would you tell your teenage self to send a letter to your future self?
I tell my teenage self so many things.
I know, right?
I think I would, if I could go back in time and tell myself, I'd be like, you need to watch the show so that you've got like nearly 2 decades of references that nobody understands under your belt.
Let me tell you, it is really worth it because in 2018, something's going to change your life.
Yeah, just random like, whatever, Pasco. And you and 6 other people on the planet understand that joke.
Yep. All right. Thank you all so much for listening. We truly appreciate it. You know by now what we're about to say. Our Amazon link, podbros.com, patreon.com/podbros, all that fun jazz, tee.pub/lic/podbros. Check us out there. That's all. We hope you enjoyed it. I am John.
I am Jeff.
And I'm Dan.
You've been listening to another episode of the Jean Pod Van Dam Cast. So now let's go back in time and influence Al Capone.